Hello and welcome to another edition of Pricing College with your hosts Aidan Campbell
and Joanna Wells.
Today's episode is a bit like maybe a part B or a follow-up from our last episode a couple of weeks ago where we introduced our new project which we're calling Value Culture. But I suppose in this episode I wanted to ask Joanna really why is this sort of project, what did we see, why did we think companies needed this sort of product? Like, what is the need case, or what is the problem that a lot of businesses, smaller businesses and medium-sized businesses are facing?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we primarily what we're doing is creating and implementing essentially a commercial platform called Value Culture, which is really aimed, as you said, to small and medium-sized businesses and enterprise businesses too. And the reason that we have done this, and we're calling it a platform, it is a tech platform and not traditional consulting, is because we saw the need, the mass need, the scale of the need of small and medium-sized businesses, considering there are about 98% of all businesses in Australia are smaller to medium-sized businesses. But in terms of the problem, we've seen consistently when we're speaking to startups, SMEs, medium-sized businesses, privately owned businesses, and then your ASX listed and Fortune 500s, very common problems with pricing that we want to solve. And ultimately, the problem is quite simple. People feel that the price can be something that is added on at the end of a list of commercial tasks. For instance, when you're setting up, launching a new product, often the assumption is it's okay, we can just set any price and then adjust that price later. Not really understanding the data inputs required to set pricing, the different pricing methodology out there, the metrics that they need to prepare and track along the way, and the fact that customer price response has a significant impact on your ability to change prices. Essentially, once you have your prices out there in the market, it's very difficult to change prices. And often when people do that, companies small to large, when they just do that guesswork pricing or cost plus, they regret it because they end up essentially either overcharging their customers and losing revenue and volume and unhard-earned margin, or even selling below costs when they've got such great businesses, which essentially means they're undervaluing their proposition.
I suppose, here at Taylor Wells, one of the things I'd be very aware of, on this podcast, we've spoken many times about how getting a pricing person in really will give benefits to a company. But I think, we're realists as well, and we're completely aware that if your business is doing $1 million Australian in revenue, you probably cannot afford, let's be honest, you can't afford to go out and pay someone $100,000 who's a high performer in pricing. So I think there's a real gap in the market there where the vast majority of companies are small companies, as you said, Joanna, and I agree with that there's a real gap whereby in the smaller companies people tend to be doing multiple tasks. People tend to they're not specialists, and the people often putting their hand up and suffering the most stress and going, I need some guidance on pricing, can somebody help me? To date they've fallen into a trap, a gap, I guess, whereby they're not big enough revenue-wise to finance a specialist, and to be honest, they're also, there's not much point in getting consultancy for them either because they've nobody internally who can be dedicated to it.
Oh yeah, look, that's a great point, and that's a big part of the problem too. Pricing then just becomes this quite onerous task, a real pressure on people that are really out of their depth and don't know where to start, what to do, and how to move forward with pricing. And really what Value Culture does is it gives them that start, that ability to forge ahead when things are very unclear, the starting point, and then moving forward, learning things step by step, getting the simple things mastered first before tackling the bigger things, and then step by step feeding the right information, the right direction, whether that's in terms of getting the right inputs, data inputs, information inputs together for price analysis and cost analysis, or whether it's more, okay, we need to learn different types of pricing methodology to set pricing, whatever the key area the problem is. Value culture can give that first start and then move people along their journey. So all of the pricing plans are customized to a roadmap that it makes sense for that business. Those roadmaps are very closely aligned to business strategy. And then if there's requirements to pressure test business strategy, value culture can go back to basics with strategic plans too, just to make sure that they're actually resonating in terms of the market and are indeed right for the business. And then again, from that, once that's solid and done correctly, then we can start the process with pricing, get the roadmaps in order, get the individual team plans, and then before you know it, got different people in the business, say if it's a medium-sized business, all knowing how they're feeding into pricing, whether that's a price rise implementation or a new price for a product, or even a tender. Or even if it's thinking about how to simplify a very legacy, complex system to make more revenue and to ensure pricing above costs.
Just listening to you there, Joanna, it sort of reminds me of the Pareto principle. I think I'd heard of once, and don't quote me on what that actually means, but I believe it's like the 80-20 rule or the 90-10 rule. You know, I really do think that there's a real gap in the market whereby people will get a huge amount of benefit. They'll get 80% of the benefit by doing the simple things first. Like there's a whole echelon of companies out there who are doing no pricing, really at zero. And I don't think we're proposing that these companies will be jumping to on day one to perfect pricing and Apple style, maximizing profitability. But I think you will get 80% of the benefits from doing small amounts of work. But where I really see value, in the way you're describing it there, is it's just a format, it's a structure. It's like when people go to the gym and they've no idea what they're doing, oftentimes they can just waste their time for years. If somebody sensible gives you a very simple program, it's better to take simple steps that are concrete and get you in the right direction, and you're making real progress. And I think, if this project can do that, I think there's a real benefit to it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, when you were speaking there, it just reminded me of numerous case studies where people go, what we just need to fix pricing, get me that right price. And they just focus on that because they actually don't want to get into the bigger problem, which is it could be, not enough volume, not enough leads coming through. The website could be a mess. There's not the right online quote tools to direct, to really inform and educate customers on the pricing. There's no value proposition. It's an ill-conceived value proposition. So rather than think about that, and the P&L, there's no understanding of pricing and its impact on the P&L. Costs could be everywhere. There's no sort of understanding of different cost centres. So often they go, okay, but that's just too much of a difficult problem to solve. What we need, we just need that right price, because if you increase pricing, we'll make significant profit improvement, and that would be enough to save this quarter and to keep the business afloat. Not necessarily, because you've got to think of the pricing and its impact on the customer. You can't just overcharge customers because you haven't got enough of them. That you'll lose the very customers that you've already got. And really, does your offer warrant that price increase, or are you underpricing? So Aidan, when you say that, yes, you've really got, when you start with pricing, what we find is the big epiphany with both small and medium and large businesses is that pricing is bigger than the price point that you set, right? You can't just make it up. You've really got to think about your whole business, from cost to marketing online, you've got to think about your sales positioning and approach. You've got to think about your business strategy, and you've got to get all your ducks in order. You've got to know how many leads you're getting through. You've got to know your quote to book ratios, things like that. You really, and these are highly valuable inputs to a price model. So it's not wasting time going through each of those things in detail, or as you get that information through. Because remember, you can't do it all at once. It is a journey, but each of those steps is valuable. And in the end, you will get a price model that is absolutely customized to your business. And you probably think, wow, at the beginning of this journey, I've had so many people say that, at the beginning of this journey, I never thought I'd cover so much ground. I just didn't realize it. And look at this, now we've got a price model that I understand, I can clearly articulate to the directors, to the board. It's making money for the business. There's ongoing recurring cash flow. I mean, this is a good news story, and it doesn't happen overnight. But each of those individual tasks and success help and get you that one step closer to that peace of mind and feeling, and less pressure, and feeling good about what you've done and what you've done for the business, because you actually generated value for the business, and even more so value for your customers.
Yeah, look, I think just the way you're describing it, what I'm looking forward to seeing is just keeping it simple, giving people who are coming in, who are time poor, who are, often maybe they're owner managers, maybe they're people who are running their own business, maybe they're feeling the pressure, and it's on their to-do list that they got this year, take a look at pricing. And I think, take this system, I think, that will hopefully help them do that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Do you have anything else to add, Joanna?
Yeah, I mean, again, keeping it simple is so important, because, people are very busy, and especially if you're in a small business and you're tasked with pricing and you really are out of your depth, but you want to pursue that, you need to keep it simple. And with Value Culture, this is what we've done. As I mentioned at the beginning, it's an online platform. So there's a highly sophisticated project management system that we use for businesses to make the each day and plan simple, so everybody knows what they're doing at what time. And if they don't know what they're doing, there are templates, there are guidelines and dashboards. And for each different stakeholder, there are dashboards, tracking dashboards, and result price performance dashboards. So in every step of the journey, full visibility, absolute simplicity, and then at the end of the quarter, you can see the results.
Super. When is this available? I want it right now, he says.
Look, it's been a process of hard work getting this together. But yes, look, it's available. It's created. We're implementing it with our clients. So look, if you want any more information about Value Culture for small and medium-sized businesses, and if you're interested at an enterprise level, we can certainly give you a demo, run you through it, and talk about it in more detail. But look, we're super excited about Value Culture. We highly believe that it's serving a great need in a core market, and we just look forward to sharing that all with you. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, and have a great weekend. Bye from me.
Goodbye.